Hey, good afternoon. I'm Candace Scalise here at the CBS 21 studio. We're talking about a very important topic tonight and one that can be pretty divisive as well. We're talking about vaccines. And the reason why is there's some new information coming out from the CDC about the COVID vaccine. So as a parent, when you take your child to the pediatrician, if they're getting their normal shots, they will likely ask you, do you want the COVID vaccine? If you don't, you can opt out of it. But there's a question right now, should that be required, the COVID vaccine for kids to go to school? Alex Sill is joining us live. She is taking a closer look at this. Why is this conversation and question coming up right now, Alex, about whether or not parents should be required to get the COVID vaccine for school?
Hi, Candace. Hi, everybody. Well, that's a good question. And the reason is because the CDC just came out with a new study this month showing that there is a significant spike in COVID cases in less than half of the states, more than half of the states across the country. It's in 44 states. And Pennsylvania is one of them. And it's a new strain called Nimbus. Not much is exactly known about it yet, but they have been seeing a significant uptick in cases. And one of the reasons that this is so important right now is because a lot of those uptick in cases is in children, and specifically emergency room visits have been spiking in children who are diagnosed with COVID-19. So they've been seeing that more so in the past few months. And if you take a look at the graph, which we're going to show tonight on CBS 21 at 5 and 6, you'll see that significant spike of children in emergency rooms. And so today what I did is I went around and I talked with people in Harrisburg, asking them if they think that the COVID vaccine should be required. And the opinion was mixed. Like you said, this is a divisive topic. And a lot of people think that it should be up to personal preference if you want the vaccine. But other people think if you're not getting the vaccine, then you're putting other kids at risk who did get the vaccine and might, if you didn't get the vaccine and you bring COVID to school, some people are worried about that. Some parents are worried about that, especially because this is a disease that we still don't know much about. So a lot of people are concerned about that. And what we looked at today was what specific immunizations schools require. And in Pennsylvania, the Department of Health is the one who makes that decision. And the COVID vaccine is not required, neither is the flu vaccine, but things like polio, measles, chickenpox, those are all required. And so a lot of people think now with COVID being such an epidemic in the past few years that the vaccine should be added to that list.
Did they say, as far as an age range, when you're talking about more kids being admitted to hospitals, more kids getting sick, did they say any kind of age range as far as who's getting sick?
They did. So it's kids under the ages of 11. So 11-year-olds and younger. And especially with kids going back to school right now, being on the buses together, being in classrooms together, daycare, preschools, all of that kind of stuff. Parents are a little concerned, who I spoke with today, that they won't be able to know which kids are vaccinated when they're sending their children to school, as it's not a requirement. And based on our Facebook post that CBS 21 posted, actually, you can go check that out yourself if you're watching. We asked you all, do you think the vaccine should be required? And a lot of you said no, but there are a few of you that said yes. And it was interesting to look at the discussion there and see why some of you said no. A lot of you say you don't, there's not much that has been studied about this vaccine. And so, you don't really necessarily want to put that into your children. That's what some of you are saying. And some of you are also saying, well, my kid has the vaccine. I don't want my child to be at risk. And if your child isn't vaccinated, you should keep your child home. So there is a pretty divisive conversation happening, not only just in Pennsylvania, but in our comment section as well. So if you want to weigh in, go there. But tonight at 5 and 6, I'll have more specifics about that study. So be sure to tune in for those specifics as well.
As you're looking at this study, has there been any information coming out from either pediatricians, from doctors' offices, or from anyone saying they're considering requiring it? Like, who is this information coming from? Is it the CDC saying that it should be required, or who's saying that?
So there's no official who has expressed, I was going to talk with multiple doctors today, and a lot of them were super busy with clinics as back to school is starting up. So there's an indication right there.
Makes sense, yeah.
But, the CDC is issuing a warning to people that this is happening, that there is a significant uptick in cases, that there is a significant uptick in children going to emergency departments diagnosed with COVID. And just looking at that graph that I saw, which you all will see later, it it really shows that there is a significant increase in emergency room visits in the past month compared to, even a year ago. So
Yeah.
there hasn't been an official who has come out and said, we think the COVID vaccine should be required in schools. It really is now just up to people, the Department of Health included, deciding on if they think that is something that should be required. What were the specifics around the polio vaccine being required or the measles vaccine being required? So these
It's
are
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting too, because I mean, this was something that people faced with work in 2020 up to 2022, 2023, that some workplaces required it. People got fired over the fact, or they quit their jobs because they refused to get vaccinated for it. And so now with the CDC issuing this warning, it's very interesting to hear, good on them for letting parents know, hey, this is a trend that we're seeing. And then that starts the conversation of, okay, if we're seeing this trend, does more need to happen? So we'll wait to see what the Department of Health says. I know that you reached out to a lot of different doctors' offices, made a lot of calls today to try to get some more official information about what they're seeing, and locally too. Kids in Georgia went back to school like August 1st. So even though a lot of people in Central PA are just now starting to get back to school, other people started a month ago or have already been in classes for some time. And so they might be experiencing, as we all group together, as it's going to get colder soon.
Exactly.
And that germ spread.
With Candace, it being specific to public schools, obviously private schools have different requirements. As you were just talking, I was thinking about, my university. I went to school in DC. It was required for us to show our COVID vaccines, to go to classes, to be in the classrooms. So it really is a state by state basis, which is why it's so interesting that the Pennsylvania Department of Health is the one who makes that decision for all of the public schools. And you're looking at some of the immunization requirements for those schools on your screen right now. But so it really is an interesting divide and conversation to see among people, even just talking with people in Harrisburg today. So you'll see more.
Yeah. And there are exemptions, of course, religious exemptions and the like. So it will be very interesting to see what happens here. A lot of opinions on it. If you want to comment, as Alex was talking about, you can head to our CBS 21 Facebook page. Let us know what you think. It's a conversation that a lot of people have opinions on, especially if you are a parent going through the vaccine schedule and researching what the CDC is saying about it. So, Alex, thanks for your hard work on that today. It's definitely a topic of conversation and one that, parents should be aware of, that it's going on, whether or not you choose to get the vaccine. At least knowing that the cases are up is helpful information to empower people. So thank you so much for your time tonight. We'll see you later on.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much for joining us. Like I said, you can head to our CBS 21 Facebook page. Let us know what you think. Should it be required? You can sound off there. I'm Candace Scalise. Thanks for joining us.